Ah yes, the Canary Islands, Spain's largest archipelago off the coast of Morocco. What a gorgeous, relaxing place full of overcrowded beaches, drunken Europeans, and overpriced tourist traps. Families from Britain, Germany, and the Spanish mainland flock here each summer to get away from their dreary lives, but I found something way more interesting here.
In the 1940s, the dictator of Spain, Franco, began his takeover of Spain from here, from the Canary Island.
In this video, I'm going to take you through the abandoned leper colony called Sanatorio de Abona, located in a hidden enclave of Tenerife that's barely visited by any of these sunburnt tourists. This hidden ghost town contains some of the most interesting geopolitical history in the world, and if you watch this video to the end, you'll get to see some incredibly artful graffiti and even some really idiotic stuff too. Join me as I explore this lost community, the last leper colony built by Spain's last dictator at the height of World War II. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment where you're watching from, and help me show you more of the world's most hidden enclaves. As I made my way into the grounds of this abandoned village, I instantly felt it to be one of the most intriguing and eerie places I had ever been. It's built atop of a hill overlooking a beautiful Atlantic coastline, as well as a holiday village, a collection of uniform cookie-cutter vacation homes owned by foreigners that are rented out or used for vacation flats. Above them, the ghost of Francisco Franco's regime whispers in the wind. Franco ordered this place to be constructed and was near completion in 1943 at the height of World War II. This is the story of Sanatorio de Abona, the Spanish Canary Islands' only leper colony, built by a dictator, which now hosts some rather unique modern art.
Cool up in the hills, the breeze is going, but you can see that there's been a lot of human activity up here. The ground's full of beer cans, coffee cups, trash. There looks like dog poop, cigarette butts, all the things you would expect to see in an abandoned structure. But it's quite interesting to come here and at least see a different side of Tenerife that isn't, simply beaches and tourism and all the restaurants that Spain has to offer on these islands.
Let's back up and dive into a little history. Back in 1936, in that year, Francisco Franco, a very high-ranking Spanish general known for his discipline and conservative views, was forcibly placed here, in Tenerife, Canary Islands, because the Spanish government, under the leftist Popular Front, viewed him as a potential political threat. At the time, he was well respected, but known, even by rightists, to be wildly authoritarian. To prevent him from interfering in mainland politics or influencing other military leaders, the government strategically reassigned him to the Canary Islands as commander of the military forces there.
Azana's appointment as president in 1936 was the catalyst for elements on the right, and in particular within the military, to now begin plotting a coup d'etat. As this was occurring, Franco was effectively in exile. In February 1936, he had been sent to the Canary Islands as a military commander there, a position which was effectively a form of banishment from Spain itself. Up to this point, General Franco had largely remained aloof from any of the political parties in Spain, but he was now contacted by those elements within the military who wished to overthrow the government of the Second Spanish Republic in order to end the anarchy which had characterized Spain's politics throughout the 1930s.
This move backfired spectacularly. Instead of neutralizing him, it gave Franco the perfect opportunity to plot a coup in secrecy, far from government oversight. Tenerife's remote location allowed him to coordinate with other conspirators across Spain and Spanish Morocco without immediate interference. On July 17, 1936, Franco signaled the military uprising that ignited the Spanish Civil War, flying from the Canaries to Morocco to take direct command of rebel forces. Franco took power on April 1st, 1939, after winning the Spanish Civil War. After taking power in 1939, Franco launched a brutal purge, executing or imprisoning thousands linked to the defeated Second Republic. He then imposed strict cultural suppression, banning Catalan, Basque, and Galician languages while enforcing Castilian Spanish nationwide. Economically, he pursued policies of isolation and what he said was self-sufficiency, cutting Spain off from global trade, which led to severe poverty, food shortages, and a thriving black market during the years of hunger.
And they were going to house all the lepers here in this area. But a cure was eventually found, and the village was abandoned. And this leprosy colony has become a ghost town where everything is a skeleton of its former self. This is definitely an eerie place. It's off the beaten path. It is unusual to Tenerife because Tenerife is a destination for British and German tourists to come here for warm weather and beach life. No one is really coming here to see an abandoned leprosy community. Of course, I'm here, and this is what we're exploring today. So let's go check this out. I'm going to take you through all of these buildings, a former leprosy colony built by the dictator Franco of Spain. I'm entering what looks like to be probably a residential unit. These look like the residential area. So this would house someone who had contracted leprosy. And this was the bathroom. It looks like the original tile is still here. And this would be the bathroom, the living area, and I guess this would be like a little closet or other little space. And all of these rooms are built in the same fashion. All of these are just made of concrete, just basic concrete. The tile remains still in the area where the bathroom would be. And this is where the dictator Franco, this was his solution for lepers in the 1940s, to ship them all down into the Canary Islands along the coast of this small beach community and place them in this lepers village.
By 1940, Spain had isolated itself from much of the world, and its healthcare infrastructure faltered. Leprosy was still feared due to its stigma, lack of effective treatment, and misconceptions about contagion. At the time, leprosy was wildly misunderstood, and many governments, including Franco's, created this leper colony.
There is some really gnarly graffiti here. You can see here, enjoy 420, 420, 420. This is all for marijuana. Of course, there's, instead of a marijuana leaf, there's a giant mushroom. So while the leprosy colony didn't get filled with any lepers, it sure has gotten attacked by morons.
As I made my way through this complex, I noticed many different buildings. This complex included a hospital, housing for patients and staff, a crematorium, and a large church, which still stands as one of the most iconic structures on the site. All of this, a fascinating monument to the history of public health. Its residential facilities were constructed to contain those people who contracted leprosy, thought to be one of the biggest health threats of the time. Today, this site is totally abandoned. Graffiti artists have used its walls for canvases, while its eerie ruins stand against the stark volcanic landscape. While the Spanish government has talked about redeveloping the area, including proposals for major tourism projects, the abandoned colony remains a haunting relic of Spain's medical and political history.
Here you can see this is where they were washing clothes. This is where probably the lepers or their caretakers and eventually I guess Franco's army were going to wash their linen. So if you look closely, these are graded. This has a graded surface, so they would wring their clothes here. They would scrape their clothes against this into what would have been filled with water here. And these are, this is a clothes washing station.
Advances in medicine, particularly the discovery of effective leprosy treatments, rendered this facility obsolete before it could ever be used. After being abandoned, it was briefly repurposed for military training exercises, but was never officially developed.
This says, well, it's actually backwards, but let's see. Vielleicht wird irgendwann alles wieder leichter. That means perhaps sometime everything will be easier. Perhaps someday things will be easier. In more modern times, this facility has been used as the set for some major Spanish films. Some of the films that have shot here have used the leper colony as settings for some of these movies. So it's not unusual to actually come here and see what I see now, which are film trucks. It looks like there is a film production studio, and there's a couple of scouts here right now on the other side that I am hearing talking. So there's probably some movement, there's probably some plans to film the next Spanish blockbuster, so be on the lookout.
Cadenas de oro y anillos, siempre lo verán conmigo. Carros deportivos, dos placosos, pa'l peligro. Desde morro bien tatuado, con buen porte y bien malandro. Ya me hice comerciante, el dinero me lo gano. A mi jefe lo atoraron, los gringos que son llamados. Le tocó la mala al viejo, pero nunca nos rajamos.
Couch.
Cuido a mi familia, yo los amo y por ellos doy la vida. Una especial niña, mis abuelos que me cuidan desde arriba. Sabía que eso era lo mío. Radicamos en San Diego, en la Angelina, el Jalecito. Siempre listo y bien activo, saben que soy un peligro. Con Dios bien encomendado por si hay un imprevisto. A mi jefe lo atoraron, los gringos que son llamados. Le tocó la mala al viejo, pero nunca nos rajamos.
Made it to the roof. It's very windy. I gotta hold on to my hat, but you could get a bit of a 360 view from up here. I'll give you a look.
Y así suena Ramiro LR. Corridos epidémicos. Cadenas de oro y anillos, siempre lo verán conmigo. Carros deportivos, dos placosos, pa'l peligro. Desde morro bien tatuado, con buen porte.
Thank you so much for watching. Please leave your thoughts in the comments. If you made it this far, remember to like, subscribe, and let me know which graffiti art was your favorite. This is Jody Ray for Where Jody At. Thank you for watching.
Cuido a mi familia, yo los amo y por ellos doy la vida. Una especial niña, mis abuelos que me cuidan desde arriba.